Hey guys.
Hey guys,
It's London and France here. We're just popping in really quick to intro this video a little bit before the actual introduction. We understand this is a long video. That's what you were going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
it's okay.
At the beginning of August, London and I both tested positive for COVID. And this is the story of our
Experience with it.
Yeah, our experience. London was able to stay home in quarantine in over 8 days.
Oh gosh. Hold on, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like 10 days?
10 days. So about 10 days of when she started to feel
Symptoms.
sick to when she started to feel better.
Better.
It's about when her symptoms were. I was at home for 7 days, and then I was hospitalized for an additional 7 days. So this is just the story of this. You want to talk about the timeline?
We are going to include a timeline in our next few clips so you can get an overview of when we began developing symptoms, how they progressed during our experience, and you'll even note that France was hospitalized at a point in her stay as well.
Yeah.
Her experience, not her stay. You eventually ended up staying in the
Yeah, I
hospital
did.
for a long time.
So COVID was very real for us, obviously, as you'll see in these videos. We do have some clips that we also recorded of ourselves throughout when we were having symptoms. I'm just gonna be honest. I'll figure it out in editing if it's gonna be at the beginning or within the video or at the end. But you'll see those if you watch the whole video. We understand it's long. If you do stay until the end, we thank you for staying, and we hope it was educational for you.
Sure. Our purpose is to share our story and our experience because this is a novel virus that people are learning about. It's amazing how differently this virus can affect various people.
Yeah, we only had 1 or 2 symptoms that were the same. So it's just kind of an interesting journey, and I don't want to say hope you enjoy, but we hope you
it's informative
learn.
for you.
Yes. Yeah, so, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. You can also message us on Instagram at ICLNF_ between all the words. We'll be happy to answer any questions that we can. We are not scientists or doctors or in it by any means. We can only speak of our experiences.
Absolutely.
So,
and gratefully, we are doing a lot better. We're both in full recovery. I think I'm more recovered than you are.
Yeah.
You're still getting there, but doing so much better. And we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, so we hope you learn from our experience and
take care of each other.
Yeah, take care of each other. It took like a 3-hour nap, and I woke up feeling worse than I have felt in years. I have 102.4 fever. Headache is getting a lot worse. It's hard to look at my phone, watch any movies. I'm just kind of sitting here. The only thing that sucks is I'm really cold now, but this is the only thing helping with my migraine. So I'm gonna try and power through it. The temperature jumped to 103.1. So I took as cold of a shower as I could. Now I have cold compress on my body, just trying to cool myself down. It's just, fever this high is so miserable. I was back to 98.8 today, so I'm feeling a lot better, but still feel really kind of dizzy and just out of it. Really tired. Just got my COVID test. My boyfriend drove me because it's just driving made me kind of nauseous. Feeling very nauseous today. I just still going to the bathroom. It's really hard to get all the way. I mean, again, it's like 10 feet away, but it's really hard to get all the way over there. It's just, I feel so nauseous. I feel like my head is spinning when I'm standing up. I'm feeling really out of it. Just feeling like so nauseous. My stomach feels like I'm spinning. The night of the 11th, which is my birthday, I had like a fit of like shortness of breath and just really not being able to catch my breath, and it was kind of scary, so I emailed my doctor, and my oxygen had dropped too, so I told her that, and she recommended going to the hospital. But then the next morning I felt okay, and I called her, talked to her on the phone, and then it just like went downhill from there. And so we decided to come to the hospital, and I'm starting to feel better. Oxygen's up to 94, which is the highest it's been since I got here. I am on 2 liters of oxygen, which is relatively low. Could be here for, said 5 to 10 days starting. So I could have just a couple more days or up to like 7. Actually, I don't even know if I told anybody what I have. I have COVID pneumonia. So I saw the CAT scan, the CT scan of my lungs, and there's like white, it looks like white fireworks going off inside. It's weird. Just lesions all over them. Makes it really difficult to take a deep breath. I had a plasma transfusion yesterday, and I've been here for about a week now. Feeling really good. Hopefully I'm going home today. I'm off my oxygen. My inflammation markers are down. My chest scans looked good. And yeah, I think I'm done with my last IV was yesterday. And hopefully I can just take the steroids at home. And I have some other things I might have to take at home too, but it's worth it to get out of here. So looking forward to hopefully seeing my doctor in a couple hours and being released. I'm so very excited. But I still have to be careful at home because my lungs won't be 100% ready to be in the world. So I'll still have to quarantine for 2 more weeks, but I'm just excited to get out of these 4 walls.
So I just had my COVID test, and positive side is it's not bad at all. They actually talked me through it and had me do the test myself. And there was like a guy parked next to me, and I actually was nosy and gawked at him while he was getting his test done to see what it was like, and I saw that he was doing it himself, and I'm like, oh, that actually kind of eases me a little bit, but it does feel weird, and it makes your eyes water, and it's pretty deep, but it was totally fine.
I hope you enjoyed your first full day of being engaged. I'm so excited for you, and your ring is absolutely beautiful and stunning. It looks so good on you. I hope you're feeling better soon. And I hope you have a good night's sleep to help your body heal. Love you.
Hey guys, welcome back to IC London, IC France.
I'm London.
And I'm France. Today's video is different than our usual ones.
Yeah, definitely a serious tone.
Yes. Kind of also an update about where we've been for the past month.
Yeah.
So today is July 2nd. Yes?
September 2nd.
September 2nd.
I was like, well, I thought you were maybe going back in time. I was like, we were.
Today's September 2nd. So my journey started exactly a month ago.
Yeah.
Right?
I think mine was the 2nd.
Mine was the 4th.
Yours was the 4th.
Her journey started exactly a month ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, mine was a month ago. Yours was 2 days after that.
Yeah.
So about a month.
Yeah. So, do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in my teeth. Okay. So, both of us, well, we'll just start from the beginning. So it was August 2nd, which was a Saturday. And I started getting a scratchy throat. And I was actually complaining to some people in my household about it. I'm just like...
Can I interrupt really quick?
Yeah.
We had filmed 2 days before this.
One day.
One day before this. Friday.
Right? Yep, we filmed on Friday. We saw each other Friday. We spent hours together.
Yeah. We ate together.
Yeah.
We danced together. We... check out our TikToks.
Yes, that's kind of funny to connect to later.
We were literally together for 8 hours.
We were. We spent
which is what we do all
together.
the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we knew. I
Yeah.
mean,
we know the...
For sure. We are definitely people who wear a mask and socially distance when we're in public with other people, but when we're just close to each other.
I wasn't even going to the grocery store. I was only going out for work. And when I saw you or my parents, really.
Right. Yeah.
Saw a couple other friends every once in a while, but really that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
Saturday, I started with a scratchy throat, and even made a comment to my husband about it, that my throat was feeling kind of scratchy. I get sinus infections a lot, took some Sudafed and Benadryl for a few days, and I was feeling okay, it was tolerable.
Yeah.
And Sunday rolled around, I still had a scratchy throat. My husband had some weird symptoms. He was very lethargic on Sunday. He took a few naps, and he doesn't ever take naps. He was complaining of pain in his legs, and he wasn't eating, he didn't have much of an appetite. We did take his temperature at one point as well, and although it's not considered a fever, he had a highest temperature of 99.7, and he was just he wasn't acting himself either. So he was having weird symptoms. I was scheduled to work with students the following week, and some of my students are immunocompromised as well. So I felt weird because he was having weird symptoms. Honestly, if he wasn't having weird symptoms, I probably still would have gone in and wouldn't have said anything, and followed all of the guidelines, wearing a mask,
protocols,
everything. Yeah. But because of his symptoms, I actually got in contact with my administration, was just like, hey, look, I'm not trying to be a pain, but here's my situation. I feel fine. My husband's having weird symptoms. What do you want me to do?
You're being cautious. Yeah.
Right. And they got me in contact with a school nurse. And she suggested, hey, cancel your services tomorrow. And see a doctor. And then listen, whatever your doctor says, follow that advice. So I scheduled a telehealth appointment for the following Monday. So this is August 4th now.
No, because that was Tuesday for me. It's the 3rd.
No, it's the 4th. Because the 2nd was...
Let me look.
Okay. I think the 2nd was a Saturday.
No, August 3rd is Monday.
Okay, so the 2nd was or the 1st was a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it started August 1st. Made a telehealth appointment with a doctor. And it was just the earliest one I could get, as it wasn't even my primary health physician. And had that appointment, explained to the doctor what my symptoms were. He said, we have to play it on the safe side. You have to quarantine for 10 days. And I was like, ugh. Man, like, it's just so inconvenient. I'd have to reschedule all these services with students. I was mad. I called her. I was really mad. And my husband
was like totally fine on Monday.
Was totally fine on Monday. And I was like, why are you, like, whatever.
Men.
But Tuesday rolled around. I was still feeling stuffy. Oh, and so my doctor had said too, I'm going to order you a COVID test. And we talked about that a little bit. I at first wasn't going to get a test because the doctor had said, regardless of whether it comes back positive or negative, I'm out the same amount of days.
Yeah. And I do want to preface this with, we understand that COVID tests are, is it 60% reliable or 70%?
I don't even know the exact.
60 or 70% accurate. So we understand that going into this, that like, I just don't want people to be like, they're only this much accurate, whatever. We know.
Yeah.
But it's still important that if you are feeling like you have symptoms, to monitor that and still to get tested. It's
For
still
sure.
important.
Because you'll come to find, like, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, my symptoms are so mild. If it was in any other non-COVID time, I would have gone into work. I wouldn't have thought anything of it. I would have just powered through it.
Right.
And so I told my school nurse the situation. She did recommend I get tested because I worked with students the previous week as well. And I was like, all right, like, I definitely want to get tested then. I had my test on Tuesday, and they asked me what my symptoms were. They went through a whole list. They did the same for you, and you say, like, and she'll say, like, say yes when you have a symptom. The only one I said yes to was coughing, and then she asked me, do you have any others? And I said, I just have I'm just congested. That's it. And of course, like you drive up, you call on the phone, and then somebody comes out to swab you.
Oh girl, when I got there, they were standing outside waiting for me.
They were like ready. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want me to start my Tuesday since we're on the same day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at this point too,
so
she knows I'm not feeling well. Like
right. You told me.
But mine wasn't even super severe. I was mainly frustrated because now I have to take time off work, and really I felt
Which as a teacher is like, with any career we understand, but for a teacher at the beginning of the school year it was really rough.
It is really rough.
And so like it was a rough couple days.
But
so
it was okay.
So Tuesday, I currently work in retail as I'm in my graduate program, just so I can focus on that a little bit more as I do field work and stuff. So I work in retail, but we wear our masks, we wear our gloves, we sanitize. I'm not going to say what store, but
basically,
anyway.
your store's following all protocols.
Yes. So I
don't think you have to justify yourself with that.
I know. I just like to confirm it though.
Yeah.
Because no one at my store got sick. Nobody did.
Right.
Just saying, because I was following protocols, and I was wearing a mask. And so I went to work Tuesday, and I work like pretty much 8-hour to 9-hour shifts almost every day.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling great, but I was more just like, God, I must not have slept well. Like that's kind of how I felt. And I get there at noon, so it was noon to 8.
And she had Snapchatted me at this point too, and just said like, I'm super congested. I have a lot of drainage. I don't feel well.
So I had my tonsils and my adenoids.
And I didn't think anything of it because I thought I had a sinus infection with like allergies, and I thought you just had the same thing.
Well, I do have allergies, yeah. So that's kind of what we just thought. So I had my tonsils, my adenoids. I had cartilage out of my nose taken out, and I had my uvula cut off, my throat shaved down a couple years ago. So I almost always had drainage every day of my life, like for the past, oh God, I think I was 21, so like 5 years. So it is normal for me to feel that. It was just extra that day. And so I was just kind of like, it's kind of, I feel like my allergies are acting up, which is kind of odd because they're not too bad in the summer. But I went to work anyway, thinking it was just that. Of course, wearing my mask, being careful.
Yeah.
And I get there, and thankfully I'm in a position where I'm able to sit down, and I told my manager I wasn't feeling that great. So I was able to sit down and still like take stuff out to customers' cars because we have online pickup stuff. And then like hour 1, and I'm like, I feel weird. And it wasn't like I'm sick. It was, I feel weird. That's how I felt. hour 2 rolled around, and I'm telling my coworker, I'm like, girl, something's up. Like, I don't know what this is. I've never felt this. And so I just kind of like, maybe I just like swallowed so much drainage. Just TMI, gross, I know. And I was just nauseous.
Yeah.
Because then like hour 3, I was like, I am going to get sick. Like, I'm so dizzy. I'm so nauseous. And she thankfully was sweet. And she went up to my manager and said, she needs to go home.
Yeah.
And at this point, it was like hour 4. And I'm sitting there staring off into space. I don't hear anybody. I don't see anybody. I could barely keep it together. I mean, I literally was just like...
That's like the worst.
I felt so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was hard to explain. And so they would kind of let me go early. And I left. I called my mom. Immediately started bawling my eyes out. And I was like, I just don't feel right.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't feel right.
Yeah.
And so she's like, just go home and sleep it off. And I went home. I went right to bed. I think I slept like
Yeah,
12 hours
Yeah.
or 13 hours. Woke up, was supposed to work the next day, and I called off. So this is Wednesday now.
And then at this point, when it was Wednesday, and like I knew you were like not well. Actually, honestly, at this point too, I was just like, it's like I was thinking you too, like drainage. I wasn't really worried, and I didn't think I had it.
We had similar symptoms at this point too.
Yeah.
So I think we just kind of
We thought it
and
was
we both
allergies.
have allergies. Yeah. And so Wednesday I called off work in the morning because I woke up feeling like I had the flu, and I called off, and then like I was just chilling. And I was like, I feel like I could have gone in now.
I know. I remember you saying that.
And I felt totally fine.
Yeah.
It was like nothing had happened. And we ate lunch. And I was like, I'm still kind of tired though, so I'm going to hit the hay. Slept for 3 hours. Woke up. Never felt so sick in my life. Woke up with 102.4 degree fever. And I was the most nauseous I have ever been. And I've had some pretty gnarly stomach bugs. I was so dizzy. I literally felt like my stomach was just turning.
Ugh.
Like, I don't know if anybody who watches this gets motion sickness. It was that 24/7 times 10 the whole time.
That's horrible. That's like the worst.
So
feeling.
Wednesday was my I'm sick
Yeah.
day. Because I've never had a fever that high since I had the flu in like 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So, 102.4 degree fever and slight cough. I wasn't stepped up anymore. So all I had was slight cough, severe nausea and dizziness, and high fevers. So that's where I was at Wednesday.
And Wednesday, I was still the same. I had a slight cough as well, still congested. You could hear it in my voice. And also, that's the day when my taste and my smell started to get funky. And that's when, y'all, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because that's like, they talk about that.
That's
and
telltale
sign.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
And honestly, too, I'm kind of like, there's no way. I'm like, and I don't know. I guess I believed it, but like, I didn't expect it to be not so severe, I guess.
At this point, too, I knew of maybe 2 people in my entire life that have had COVID.
And at this point, I didn't know anybody personally.
Yeah. And this is months. This is just August. This is months into quarantine.
Sure.
So for us, not that we didn't believe it, I fully believed it. I was wearing my mask everywhere. I was being very cautious and aware, and because I do have family members that are more at risk, so I was being very cautious. But it just didn't seem like it was hitting my bubble yet.
Sure.
And so, it was shocking.
So when I was losing my sense of smell and taste, like it was so odd because like I had just was eating like dinner or something, and I started to notice it in my dinner, and then I was like, I'm gonna eat a pickle and see what it's like, and I could tell like my taste buds knew it was something sour, but it's so odd because you literally can't taste it at all.
Yeah. So
and that's when I started like that's when I was like, ugh, and then I started just piecing things together like I don't like that's a symptom of it. And I'm like, is it just again allergies, sinuses, but then I was like, but she doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and so. I don't want to like talk about all the days because we were both pretty sick for like at least 7 days.
Yeah. I know.
But I wanted to touch on the taste thing because mine didn't happen till later.
Yeah.
But since we're on this, so my taste and smell, I only lost for about a day and a half, and it was towards the end of the first week. So I think I was like 5 days in, and I was like craving sweets, and so I had lemon heads at home, and they weren't sour, and that's how I was like, interesting. And then thankfully for me, which this is not thankfully but kind of thankfully, at the same time I wasn't able to hold down any food, so I didn't experience it too much. I had a couple like maybe 2 meals where I couldn't taste or smell, but other than that I couldn't hold down food it ended up being 3.5-4 days, but the first 2 days was my taste and smell.
Gotcha.
So it didn't super affect my life just because I was not eating anyway.
Right I understand that. My taste and smell were gone for about
Usually a long time.
Like, well, I want to say at least 4 days.
Yeah.
And it got to the point too, like the first day and like first 2 days, I was like, you know, I just used it. But then it makes you lose your appetite. Because like nothing's appealing. Guys, it was so weird too. Like, maybe when you walk outside and you could smell the air. Like I'd walk outside and I could tell it was a different type of air, but I couldn't smell it.
Yeah. I couldn't even get to the bathroom by myself.
I know.
Whew.
You had it like
I had a very okay. I don't want to say severe. You had a very mild case.
Sure.
I had a mild to moderate. Is that what they told me? So people
More
had a lot.
moderate side, I would say though, for sure. Because honestly, too, mine was mild, but like I felt crappy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And
Yours
I
was
did.
like flu with COVID. Like I
Yeah.
feel like you. I feel like well, as of what you
I
told
don't
me,
know,
obviously
though.
you can explain it better than I. But I just felt like you were saying that your body felt very sick.
Yeah.
Like, achy
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
There's a couple days.
tired.
Tired, yeah.
Just like tired. Honestly, though, I did have the flu in February, and I think the flu was honestly worse in a sense. But I had a few bad. Well, I know, not for you, but like COVID. Well, I was also on a weird antibiotic when I had the flu, and it like really messed me up digestive wise too. But so did COVID.
I had a flu, sinus infection, and strep all at once.
And it was and COVID.
And COVID was worse.
Yeah, I remember that.
Except for the swell, my throat swelled shut when I had that bad
Yeah.
strep, but that's different anyway.
Yeah. And thankfully, I only had one. Like, so I did start experiencing digestive system issues on Friday. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, a little bit. Things started feeling better on Monday. And it wasn't super severe, but I did have one really bad night of like super nausea.
Yeah.
Like, it just like I was gonna like vent to her about it. I was like, she has it so much worse than me. Like, I'm not even gonna bother her with us right now.
Should I get into my
I think
side? I
that's
guess.
actually the night.
What night? No. Oh, was it?
Like when I was having that, and I was like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna put that on you.
My story's a little bit longer, and if you feel like there's something that happened with you and you want to
Yeah.
cut in, do that, because I could talk about this crap for hours. I won't though. It won't be that long. So anyway, okay, so we're at Wednesday, and this is when I wake up with 102.4 degree fever, and my days were similar. That first full week, just all blends, and I kind of was like on a roller coaster. I would start to feel better, and then I'd start to feel worse.
I get all her Snapchats. Like,
Yeah, I'd
it's funny 'cause,
Snapchat
like,
everybody.
Some would be like she was so red. She was in bed. Like, you could just, like, you could see it in your eyes.
I think
And then, like, a few days later or something, like, I'd get one, and you're like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Like, you still didn't seem like 100%,
Right,
but I
no.
could tell you were feeling better.
So with that Tuesday when I went home sick, I kind of was out of it. I didn't feel like myself 2.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, like, I just started feeling better, like, before this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, feeling more me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when I got home, I wasn't sure if I'd be the same with my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was like, I just felt different,
Mm-hmm.
which is super weird. But, okay, we're at Wednesday. So, like, Wednesday to, like, Monday was all pretty similar for me.
Yeah.
It was high fevers, taking Tylenol and ibuprofen, switching around the clock, and my boyfriend had to walk me to the bathroom every time because I couldn't. The nausea and the dizziness, you guys, was like nothing I've experienced. It was horrendous, to the point where, like, I once went to the bathroom by myself and then vomited everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I made it in the toilet, but, like,
Yeah.
it was so bad. Like, it was worst nausea of my life. And so that's kind of where I was, and to the point where, like, I couldn't. Sorry, there's a. Is he gone? Yeah. Okay. To where, again, I think it was right before my birthday. My birthday was Tuesday the 11th, so I think it was like that weekend is when I stopped being able to hold food down, and I had one yogurt for like 2.5 days. That might have been it, and I had to force myself to keep that down. Like, I literally put myself to sleep so I wouldn't throw up. And so I'm just drinking water, Pedialyte, Gatorade. One of my really good friends she's almost an NP, and so nurse practitioner. So she was just, get Pedialyte whenever you can, drink a lot of Gatorade, water, everything, like, fluids. And I tried, but it's also really hard to drink that much when you can't go to the bathroom without throwing up.
Yeah.
So that was difficult. So again, my days from like Wednesday to Monday really blurred together. I think the highest my fever got was 103.1. Constantly had cold compress on me. I did mess up once, and I was so cold I could barely stand it. I had 5 fleece blankets and a quilt, and I still was shivering, and with ice packs on my face trying to get the fever down. And my boyfriend was like, "You've got to take the blankets off, or your fever's not going to go down." And so I just shivered until I fell asleep, basically. And then when I woke up, it was lower. And for the most part, if Tylenol was working, it was about 101. for the most part, but it did get up high a couple times. So then my birthday rolls around, which was Tuesday, the 11th, and I was super bummed because I had not a big party, but I had a couple people we were, going to see family and friends, and which again, if you should social distance, we were going to be good and be outside and everything and do our best.
Can we backtrack a little bit?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
On Friday, that's when I got the call from the doctor.
Oh, shoot, we didn't even tell about testing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. On Friday, I got the call from my doctor in the evening, and they, it read, it didn't say positive, it said detected.
Yeah.
And I remember I even called my school nurse, and I was like, it says detected. I was like, that means positive, right? And when I got that, too, it was just like, oh my gosh, like, I have it. Like, thank God I went through this situation here of
Thank
everything.
goodness you were cautious.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. And I went, and I remember even too, I had told her, I'm like, here's when I can come out of quarantine. And you were like, oh yeah, like it's right around my birthday. Like you'll still be able to come and celebrate. And I was like, yeah, I should be able to.
Nope. So I totally missed this part. On Tuesday, I had a virtual appointment with my doctor, and I told her my symptoms because we need to test you.
Yeah.
Like there was like no, high fevers. Like that's one of the main symptoms. And so I got tested actually Friday morning. So like I think you literally texted me, and then I got tested.
Yeah.
And you told me you were positive, and then I got tested.
Well, I didn't get get it back until the evening. Yeah.
Well, I got tested, and then I got your message. I don't even remember what time I went.
Yeah, and then when I was positive, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like that's
so
what
then
she has too.
I got my positive Monday.
It was Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. I knew you'd get it Monday too.
Yeah, you told me that, and I was like, no, I won't, because they told me like 7 to 10 days or something.
I was like, I bet you'll get it Monday.
So I got it Monday, and mine was positive, and so we got it. Yeah, whatever. My doctor. So there are breathing problems in my biological family because I am adopted. So I know to be cautious in my breathing, and so you are also monitoring your.
Yeah, well, at this point as well, because they talk about, so when you look at the CDC's website about COVID symptoms, one of the things they mention is silent hypoxia, which is when your oxygen levels drop, but you act totally normal. And a nurse, I don't know her official title. She's amazing. But she's a friend of ours, and I know she was talking to my husband before, and she said, yeah, a lot of COVID patients, they seem totally fine, but like their oxygen levels are so low.
Right.
And we were talking about this, and she actually had, she was saying, like, I'm monitoring my oxygen. I was like, oh, like.
What's it called again? Oximeter?
Pulse oximeter.
Pulse oximeter.
And I got one off Amazon, too, because then at this point, you guys, I'm thinking, okay, I have it, and I want to monitor myself.
Yeah.
Because I have anxiety, and it just.
Right.
And then I thought, the household I live in is my husband and my 88-year-old grandfather. Like, in case he were to, like, that was another scary thing, too. And thankfully, we were able to quarantine and knock on wood, like, he has been totally fine. And now it's completely past the point anyways. But I just wanted to have one in the house.
Of course. And my mom, the day I got sick, dropped it off.
Yeah.
Like, we, again, I'm aware of my family history. And on top of that, like, my heart rate already runs fast. Like, I completely understand that, like, obesity is something where some people have high blood pressure, fast heart rate, everything like that. But it's important to monitor that, because I don't know if it's a high risk because of my weight. I don't think so. When I was at the hospital, they said I was healthy and that I don't have any
pre-existing conditions.
Thank you. So like they didn't seem worried about that. However, my oxygen, this was Tuesday, so I'm going to start with happy news real quick, actually, and then I'll get into that. Anyway, I was monitoring all my oxygen, and it was staying low 90s, which is not great. It's not bad. Anything above 90 is like, okay, but like anything above 95 is like better.
Right.
So it turns into Tuesday.
I was freaking out when mine was like 96. I was like, that's not good.
I laughed because that's high for me. But it was Tuesday night. It just turned midnight, and I was staying up really late because I couldn't sleep because I was sitting in the bed the whole time, so I just couldn't fall asleep. And my boyfriend comes in again. Now it's my birthday, and he had this whole plan to propose on my birthday. And again, we were having a small party, which would have ended up being like engagement celebration. And so he did end up proposing, and it was super romantic and amazing, and just
look at that ring.
I know.
It needs more time.
Sorry.
So
and
pretty.
It was super sweet. Definitely put like some pep in my step, and it was just like, it just made me feel better for a little bit anyway.
For sure.
And it was just so amazing and perfect.
He called me, I think, earlier that day and told me, he's like, screw it. He's like, I'm going to do it. He's like, I think she
he wasn't going to do it.
Right. And I was just in my heart too. I was like, you know what? Like, I am so glad because I think she needs something happy right now.
Yeah. Because I was in complete isolation in my bedroom. He would come in to help me to the bathroom and bring me food, and that was about it. Which is understandable because he needed to protect himself. And so I was like, I don't do well completely alone for a full week. I was just like, whoa, going so crazy.
Yeah.
Again, my nausea was so bad I couldn't watch any TV. And the moving screens was like torture. I was gonna get sick if I watched anything. So I ended up not doing that. So we got engaged. It was amazing. And I think I fell asleep like 4 a.m. because I was so excited. And I was like texting
me.
Like, I was like, wake up.
And thank goodness I did. My grandfather actually went to the bathroom and he woke me up and I was like, what's up?
And then she was awake.
And I checked my phone. Because then I thought too, I was like, he did say he was going to do it, but I didn't know if he was going to do it like that night or like another, the next day.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm getting all excited. I'm fogging up now, my glasses. So that was amazing. So then I go to sleep at like 4 a.m. Wake up Wednesday. Yeah. Wednesday the 12th. This is my bad day. Started my bad day. And I felt okay. I actually talked to my doctor that morning. Because, I didn't mention this part. I'm sorry. There's a lot of information for me. Tuesday, my oxygen dropped to 87. And I'd gone to the bathroom and it dropped to 87. And I literally lay on the bed, just trying to catch my breath. I felt like I couldn't take a full breath. Like I was tight. It didn't hurt. But it was just like...
shortness of breath.
Yeah, shortness of breath. And it only happened once. And so I was like, I'm fine. I don't need to go to the hospital. Because I will tell you right now, I'm scared to death to be intubated. It is like one of my worst nightmares. And so I just was like kind of in denial. And the next day I woke up and I was like, no, I need to be careful. So I called my doctor and she said, put your pulse oximeter. Yep. Put it on, start walking around and talk to me. And I was fine. And I think it was like a 93 or 92, maybe 93 or 94. I was never over 96 and at home. And so she was like, okay, you're probably okay, but if it happens again, you need to go straight to the ER and come to the one that she's like connected connected to. And that's like where I grew up, going to there all the time. And so I was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on it. So like my day, I started to feel a little bit better. The breathing was still like not as great as it, a little bit. Not shortness of breath, though. Like it just felt different.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
Yeah. And so I ended up going to the bathroom, and my my fiance is with me.
At this point.
Yeah, he was with me, and I just, something changed, and I was laying on the bed. I couldn't catch my breath the entire time we went to the hospital. I was just, and I started screaming. I was like, we gotta go now. And I tried to pack my bag, and I got like some essentials and things like that, a phone charger, and I don't know what else, but we left because I really only thought they were like gonna give me like some what is it called? IV and some like liquids, and I'd be fine. Yeah. So you get to the hospital. I have to go in completely alone, mask up. Actually, they wouldn't even let me in the building at first because I'm positive. So they made me sit out on a bench, and then someone came in full garb, which of course they're being very cautious.
Sure, they need to.
And took me to an isolated room in the ER where like I didn't even have a bathroom. I literally had to pee in a pot, like. So I'm talking to my mom, calling my fiance. I think I was texting my other friend who's the NP.
I woke up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was in the clear to go back to work on Wednesday, but I took one more day. I felt I needed it.
Yeah.
And I got that text from her, and she just said going to the ER. I was just like,
yeah, it got really bad. Oh God, I could cry. I was so scared, guys. Whew, because
what's amazing though is like on the outside, like you didn't look like you seemed like very brave and scared. To you, I would have been like, I'm a mess, you guys. I don't like hospitals to begin with.
Yeah,
they scare me. I know.
See, I'm used to it because I have a lot of appointments throughout the year, and like I've been to a couple hospitals, but I understand your fear.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
And
I would have been a mess, but she was
talking
just
up
like,
so bad. And so I was talking. I don't know if I texted you. I know I texted my fiance, and I was like, I'm scared. And
you never text. I was waiting for you to kind of vent to me. I was ready. I was ready to take you in and give you all these virtual hugs.
I think it was Kylie who's the NP because she knows the stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I texted her once.
I get that.
But this was after I was already admitted. This is okay. So I'm sitting there, and it was like I did get an IV right away, and they gave me fluids. nurse came in. Another nurse came in, took a lot of blood. I don't remember what they were testing for. Kind of a blur. I was pretty out of it this day.
Her fiance even told me too. I called him that Wednesday evening and got more details from him and was checking on him to make sure he's okay. And I was like, and I asked him too. I was like, what made you go to that? Like, what made her go to the hospital? Just because you've had it rough the whole time too. I was like,
bad.
what changed? And he told me about your shortness of breath, and then he told me too. He's like, she was just out of it. Like, he's like, I was talking to her and she just would respond. Like, he's like, I could just tell she wasn't fully with it.
No.
And I was like, that's so scary.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like, I don't know. And to be, it's so weird. TikTok literally got me through. I know, like, the screens, like, made me dizzy, but the fact that I could just sit there and listen to them and just scroll real quick if it was making me dizzy or pause it real quick, that's all I did while I was waiting for the doctors. And then literally the whole hospital stay. So, doctor, I think I was in the ER for 5 hours before I got admitted. So probably like 3, and then they took me to get a chest CT scan of my, I think they call it abdomen, but it's shoulders to hips basically. And I was already kind of nervous about that. And they have to put dye in you. Contrast. You ever had that?
You told me though about it. I'm
She
like,
goes, and also my IV was in a very odd spot, so I had to have my arms straight up in the air the whole time, which is very uncomfortable. I mean, doable, whatever, first world problems. But like, it was uncomfortable with how they did it because my arm had to be completely straight for anything to go in my IV the whole time I was there because it was in my bend of my arm. And so it was just super weird because you could hear it go into my arm, and it was just, it was like I haven't had an IV in quite a few years, so it was just weird. And she goes, "You're gonna feel like you peed your pants." And I was like, okay. And I didn't really believe her.
Yeah.
No, guys, when you get contrast, I literally crossed my legs and I was like, whoa. Like, I peed. I didn't. But, like, it was just your whole body is, like, hot for, like, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Feel like you peed and then it's gone. And so I get out, whatever. And they have to, like, close down the CT scan room because I had COVID. And they have to do a full clean afterwards. Which is why it took them so long to get to me because they had other patients they needed to do first so that they could clean after I'm done. Which is fine, I understand. Being cautious. So, CT scan, blah, 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 come back in, go to the room, sit there for like another hour. FaceTiming my mom the whole time, video chatting my fiance, just feeling very alone. And the doctor comes in and she goes, so, bet you already knew this, but you have COVID pneumonia. And I was like, what's that? Like, I know what pneumonia is, I know what COVID is. What's COVID pneumonia? And it's basically just pneumonia brought on by COVID.
Yeah.
Makes sense when you think about it and you're in the right brain,
Yeah.
the right mindset. But I was, again, very out of it. And so they showed me a picture of my scans, and it literally was like fireworks. White, just streams like this throughout my lungs, which are like the lesions and stuff. And they didn't say, like, I know some people get pneumonia so bad where it's like pus-filled, stuff like that. They didn't say anything about that for me, which I don't know, they didn't mention it.
Yeah.
So I assume I didn't have that, but it was very scary looking. And so they said, okay, we're gonna...
Because healthy lungs should look completely black.
Yes.
You should see your ribs.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so she's like, we're gonna have to admit you. And I was like, oh God. And I was like, okay. So I called my fiance and I was like, I am not coming home tonight. Because he was all like ready to come get me.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not coming home tonight. He was like, okay, well, let me know tomorrow when you come get you. Or when you're gonna be released. So they moved me to a COVID floor, which that's the whole thing, but I'm just trying to speed it up.
Yeah.
Moved me to a COVID floor, and I think I had 4 doctors around my case. So I had my regular general doctor, and I had 2 disease specialist doctors, and then I had a pulmonary doctor for my lungs. So the first guy that comes in is just the general doctor. Very nice, super tall, but super kind guy, but straight to the point, but kind about it, and, warm. However, first thing this man says to me after I've gotten so much blood work and I'm sitting there with IV, just like already scared, is, he goes, so if you, right now you're able to hold your oxygen. I think I was like back up to 96 at this point actually. So I did actually get up to 96, but I was not above it. He was like, when, maybe I don't remember. But he basically said like, if you can't handle the oxygen, if your oxygen goes any lower, we're gonna have to put you on oxygen. If you can't handle the oxygen, we're gonna have to move you to the ICU and intubate you. That's literally what he said to me. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I was just so scared. And that's when I think I texted Kylie and my fiance, and I was like, I'm terrified. I'm literally scared. Oh my God, I was so scared. And I literally talked to my mom. Thank God for that woman and my dad. Like, just talked to her all day, every day.
Yeah.
That was literally what got me through. My friends texted me and stuff, sending me pictures and whatever. And so that was the first night. And then they also came in. Speaking of the hypoxia, whatever it was called.
Silent hypoxia.
Yes. Speaking of that, they do a draw out of your arteries in your arm. That is a blood gas level. Mm-hmm. And so I have very hard veins to find. And so they tried the one, I mean, like, digging, couldn't get it. So somebody else came back in, like, 10 minutes later, got it from the other one. She pulled it with the syringe away, and she goes, so, blood from your arteries is supposed to be the brightest red. She showed me mine, and it was almost black, which means I don't have enough oxygen in my blood. So she immediately hooked me up to the oxygen machine, which immediately helped, like, made me feel, I was still very nauseous at this point, super out of it, very dizzy, but that just helped a lot with the shortness of breath, like, tremendously. Cough got worse when I was in the hospital, too, adding that. Just constantly feeling you wanted to cough something up and couldn't. Kind of how I felt. And so that was, like, when I first got there, it took a lot of blood vials from me. You had to get shots in your belly, because COVID makes your blood really thick, which is another reason why my blood was thick and dark. COVID patients in the hospital get blood thinners shots in their stomach. I don't want to put pictures because it's kind of in a area that I don't want to share. But, I mean, like, my bruises were pretty prominent. Huge. Dark, like, eggplant purple. They're still there, and it's been 2 weeks almost. So, you know, that wasn't fun. And then, so I had my first night nurse, who was incredible. Tammy.
Shout out to nurses, too.
Oh, yeah, they were all incredible. I didn't have a single bad nurse.
Yeah. Like, seriously, the work y'all do and the comfort you bring.
Yes.
I told her, too, one time, like, I was just texting you each night, and, like, one of the things I said, I was like, I hope you have a nurse who's, like, a mama and, like, taking care of you, and
Tammy
really
was
sweet
amazing.
to you.
I had a guy, too. I'm so sorry, I could not remember anybody's name. Tammy's the only one I remember. But he was amazing. I had him almost every day. Almost. I don't think I had him the first two, but he was great. And I had another nurse, blonde-haired, because they all have masks and stuff. I can't see their faces, so I lose track of names and stuff. But Tammy, I remember. And the first night, I couldn't hold any food down again, and I couldn't walk to the bathroom on my own or anything. And so she's just so sweet. She got the puke bucket right under me. Like, I mean, I was about to go all over the floor. And she did it, and she just held cold rags on me and just made me feel, like, so much better. Like, treated me like my mom treats me. It was just so sweet. Took care of me, like, to no other, and it was just amazing. Made me feel a lot more comfortable. Yeah. And I tried to sleep on my back. Because, like, when you're in a hospital bed, it's hard to sleep.
Sure.
And so I was sleeping on my back. Again, I have that drainage, so if I'm not on my stomach, I have to be sitting up, kind of, or else my drainage just makes me, like, choke. And I got, like, 2 hours sleep, if that. And, like, to the point, she just, like, came in and talked to me because all the other patients were sleeping. Yeah. And just, like, hung out with me for, like, 20 minutes. And so that night was rough. The next day, and I had a fever when I went to the hospital still. So I had a fever that whole time. And my fever broke that night. And I'm not even kidding, I've never sweat so much in my life. They had to come in the middle of the night and change my sheets, undress me, and change, like, I was dripping. My hair was dripping sweat. So that's when I broke the fever in the middle of the night. And then, thankfully, my fever's gone the rest of the time. So I didn't have a fever again.
I was worried about how long you had a fever.
Yeah, it was bad. I think it ended up being 7 or 8 days of fever, high fevers. So fever broke, woke up Thursday, and oxygen was really helping. This was the first day where I could start to go to the restroom on my own. I was still dizzy to the point where, but they were comfortable with me getting up. I wasn't a fall risk anymore. And my dizziness started to subside a little bit. I still couldn't watch anything, but I didn't feel like I was, like, walking on moving, sand anymore. So that made things, pardon me, a lot better. And then there's also this is something that, like, if you do have COVID, that you should try at home, that I started doing that night, which was proning. I think that's what it's called.
I don't know the term.
Proning. Proning. I don't know. And they recommended it. I sleep on my stomach at home anyway. And so they were like, if you can sleep on your stomach, that would help you so much. And I was like, I'm allowed? Like, perfect. But it was really hard to sleep with an IV in my arm. Yeah. I woke up every day, my arm was asleep. Yeah. But, so I started doing that. And burning is basically where you just slowly rotate yourself. Like, so you're on your back, then you're on your side, then you're on your front, whatever. Or whatever. They do that with patients that are intubated. is they intubate a lot of patients on their stomachs to help them.
Right.
And so like that, I started doing that, and immediately I did start feeling a little bit better. My case,
when I slept too, like I think either you told me that or I looked it up or something, but it said it's best to sleep on your sides, because I had shortness of breath for several days, not like super severe, but like I just wasn't. I'm an active person. I love to run. I still haven't ran since August 1st. Now it's been a month, and I'm getting to the point where I might try to, but it took me a long time to catch my breath. But I did sleep on my sides more because I felt like I could breathe easier.
So sides for me is just kind of hard because I am bigger, I think. I just kind of like feel like I'm slumping one way or anyway. So I might as well just choose back or front. So front really helped me. So I woke up the next day, and I literally slept for like 13 hours that night. I slept so good. I mean, they have to wake you up and do their, I had got
your
vitals taken every so many hours or whatever. And so they woke you up for that, but then I just fell right back asleep. So I slept so good that next day. And the next day, I think is when I got asked to do the trial. I think it was that day. With the plasma and the antibodies and an antiviral that I can never remember the name of.
Remdesivir.
Yeah, that one. Yep.
I maybe even said it wrong, but I think it's remdesivir. Or remdesivir.
Something like that. So I got all that. I was on steroids. And during all this too, I did have a UTI. So I was also on antibiotics for that, because that's an extra fun one to have. Didn't know I had it, but so I was on all that. I got the IV, which plasma just looks so weird. It just looks like orange juice. And so it was just weird getting that in an IV. And they have to monitor you a little bit more when you do that or something. So the nurses were in there with me, which was actually really nice because it was very lonely. So they were in there for a little bit. And I had that twice in one day. I don't know how it was for other people. I didn't really tell them about this that much. I just said I was tired. But I didn't have any bad reactions to the plasma transfer, but I was just exhausted. I literally slept like 13 hours, and then I was up for 2 hours. I slept another 5 hours. I just slept the whole day, which is good. Slept away one of my days there.
Right.
So that was like day 3, I want to say. And then the
remdesivir.
That I got through the whole rest of my stay. The plasma I only got the one day. So they said it usually takes like 3 to 4 days to start seeing improvements with that, but also it's kind of hard because I was already at the end of my sickness anyway, so we hoped. And so I can't really tell you if, yes, the plasma worked. All I know is I did start to feel better, but again, I can't correlate to that being the plasma or just the sickness ending. So I don't know what day we're on. I apologize again. I'm still very out of it for a lot of this. I think you even said like when I was texting you, I just didn't seem like myself.
She like texted me a few times, and I'd ask you like a question. Because I could tell him even just your text. I mean, we Snapchatted videos of each other too, and I definitely I could tell in your videos, but even your text I could tell she's not feeling good, she's out of it. But you got to be more talkative via text. And at one point, I asked her a question, she said something, and then she asked me a question, and I was like, I didn't say it to you, but I was like in my mind I was like, I already answered that, but I texted her back. It was just I could tell she was out of it.
I don't remember any of that. And so I just didn't. If you were FaceTiming me, I feel like I was a little bit better. But texting, I don't know. I was just not paying attention probably. And so I think day 3, because I was in bed this whole time still. Day 3, I was like, I can't sit here anymore. So I started sitting at the chair by the window, and that became my spot. And even the nurse came in. It's my last day, and he walked in. He goes, "Girl, why aren't you in your spot?" I was like, I don't know, just moving around. It was also very, very hot in my room for the first couple days. I mean, scorching. To the point where the nurses were complaining. It was so hot. And so I split it by the window because that's where the air conditioning was. So started feeling better. And then I just had 3 days of just boring, sitting there, oxygen, starting to feel better. Each day I started to feel a little bit better. I still had a cough a little bit. Fever's gone. UTI was gone. I was off my antibiotics with that. So I was just on steroids and the remdesivir. Never have been with it. And so I started to feel better. So I ended up having 6 days in the hospital total. And the first 3 were probably the scariest. I'm not even telling you this. They were monitoring my oxygen the whole time. Sorry. See, there's little pieces where I just can't remember.
You had 7 days in the hospital.
Oh, 6. 6
Did
nights.
you go home 6 nights?
Yeah, 7 days. Yeah, 7 days, sorry. They were monitoring my oxygen the whole time, and I was I never went down under 80 again because I had the oxygen.
but I was never able to get it above a 94. I was just 92, 94, 92, 94 the whole time. Well, the first 4 days. And then it started to go up. So then day like 5, I think I was like made it to 95, and I was like, yes. And my nurse is all like, you gotta keep doing it. I keep doing it. I was like sleeping on my stomach. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get there. I was like, every like number up, I was like, yes. So then the next day I was like at 96, and he was like, if you keep up 96, you can go home. And I was also like feeling better and getting off the medicines and stuff. So that's another reason why.
You're doing a lot better.
Yeah. And so I was able to keep it at 96 all day.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing it, because I just wanted to go home so bad. And so did I come home Tuesday? Yeah. So Tuesday evening. Oh my God. It took me forever to get home. That morning I woke up super bright and early, and I was like, today's the day, I'm going home. Like, but my doctor was off. So I had a new doctor that day who never met me. And so I was really worried that they'd want to keep me, because I did need more tests done, like blood tests, just to monitor something called a D-dimer, which is an inflammation marker, and some other stuff. Because I still had inflammation in my lungs. I think a normal person's like, I could be totally wrong with this, guys. I'm doing the best I can. Again, I'm very foggy. I was very foggy in this time. But I think a normal person's D-dimer level or marker is under 250, and mine was almost at 2,000. Wow. And so after the first day, we got it down to like 1,900. Then it was like 1,800. Then it took a big jump. It was like 1,500. And then I think when I left, it was at 800 or 900.
And it's supposed to be at 250 or under?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was very high. And most COVID patients are high. It's a marker for inflammation, but also a test to see if you have, if it's high, you are likely to have blood clots, basically. But because COVID makes your blood so thick that it typically is very high in COVID patients. So I'm told.
Yeah.
But also, like, they were just really worried about that, and because, like, blood clots, again, they're giving me blood thinners and everything. So when I went and got the blood test almost 2 weeks after getting out of the hospital, a week and a half, it was down to 500. So it's still going down, which is good. So we're still monitoring that. I'm still on blood thinners at home. But that's a good sign that it's going down. There was 2 other levels too that were also inflammation markers and stuff like that were also going down as well, but they were all very high when I first was there, like the first 5 days. So then they felt comfortable enough to let me leave. And also the whole day before that, sorry, this is so dumb, Monday, they were like, let's work you off your oxygen, because I was able to keep it above 96. And so they took my oxygen down, just like one number. I was only at 2 liters of oxygen. Like a lot of people there were like on 15. So I was doing pretty good. Again, I was like one of the younger ones. So I went down to 1, and I think like that day too, Monday, it might have been Tuesday, it might have been the day I went home, they took another scan of my chest, and they said it looked amazing, like so much better. Tuesday. Yeah. It was like that day I left. Okay, she knows more than I do. So it was, that was doing,
pads on you, girl.
Yeah, that was looking a lot better, which was good. And then, but that Monday they were able to get me all the way off the oxygen, and I was able to keep my oxygen at 98 by myself with no oxygen, and I was feeling really good. And that's pretty much about the end. They stopped the steroids, and they did not send me home on them. And then like a week and a half, and that's so I went home. Yeah. And okay, so Tuesday I went home, and still didn't feel like myself. I felt still kind of out of it, not like dizzy or nauseous or anything. That thankfully had subsided, but I just didn't feel like me.
Kind of like foggy and
yeah. And I felt really far away from my fiance. Not in a bad way. Like obviously still love him and all that stuff, but like I just felt like, I don't know. It was kind of weird because I felt like we were dating again. Because we were like talking on the phone. Like it wasn't like I was seeing him. It was very weird. And it literally took me like 2 days to feel like I was at home. It was very odd. Crazy. And so I get home. This was something I was not prepared for. I live in a 3rd floor apartment.
Oh, I was telling her too. I was like, girl, you need to have your fiance put cheers on each of the levels there, because I was worried about her. There's no elevator.
No. This is the most like something's wrong moment, other than when I couldn't breathe the first day, or that one day I went to the hospital. I took 1 step up, and again, I've been like on bed rest already for like 15 days at this point. I did steps once to get down to go to the hospital. That's
I was worried about your muscle tone too.
Oh my God!
We had a conversation. I was like, "Are you doing stretches? Do you have a physical therapist coming in working with you?" Like,
no, my room was like 3 feet wide. I didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
So I get to my stairs. I take a step up. I take 2 steps because I was like, I'm breathing good now. No, my legs completely cramped up. It was like just Charlie horses from my heels to my knees. I could not move them. It took me 15 minutes to get up those stairs. I'm not even kidding. I had to take one step and stop and like stretch my feet, stretch my ankles, rub my calves. It was horrible. It was so miserable. And I had that pain for like 2 days. And I immediately called Kylie, the almost NP, and I was like, do I have blood clots in my legs? Like, I was freaking out. And she's like, girl, you haven't used your legs in 2 weeks. Like, give it a minute. And so I eventually got upstairs. I'm basically on bed rest again. And that probably only lasted for like 3 days. And then I moved out to no, it didn't. It lasted longer than that. Because my fiance tested positive. Forgot about that. He tested positive. I had to quarantine for an additional 2 weeks after the hospital because my lungs were susceptible to other things. I didn't have symptoms to be contagious anymore. So the doctor was like, you're not going to get anybody sick, but if somebody gets you sick with something else, what the frack is that?
That's a frog. Where did it come from? Did it come from the umbrella? They go in the umbrella sometimes.
I don't do frogs. Is he going to hop this way?
I don't think so. His back is towards us.
No, he's moving. I don't like frogs.
He won't jump on us. I don't like him either.
Oof.
Oh my gosh, you might go on your camera. Do you want me to grab it?
Oh no!
I'm scared if I move it.
These are really foggy. What the heck?
Oh gosh. Yes, look that way. Oh my god.
He's moving. Okay.
Do you want to keep rolling? Or do you want me to grab the camera?
I just keep rolling. It's fine.
Okay.
I can't do these. Why are they so foggy? It's very humid out here, guys. So, what if he oh, okay.
It's not like too bright. Just don't look at it.
Okay. Okay. So he tested positive as well, so he had to quarantine away from me again. So we were
thankfully.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was asymptomatic the entire time.
Lucky dude. I got it all for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You did.
which is fine. I would not want him to get sick. So he was fine technically, but because he tested positive, we had to be careful.
Sure.
So he isolated again in the other room, and I isolated, but he only had to isolate for so long or like less days than I did, because I was out of the house for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So like if he had gotten positive from me, which he did, it would have been from almost 2 weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
So he only had a couple more days of isolation, but I had to stay home. So I'm home, I'm isolating, still not feeling myself for a couple days, really dizzy again. Not the whole time though. Like I was getting like moments of it, where like we make shakes every morning with fruit and stuff, and I would make shakes for him. I went to go make a shake for him and I started screaming for him. I can't stand anymore. I can't. I'm gonna pass out. I was like seeing spots, and I like went and I put my head on the kitchen table, and he like brought me a drink, and like I chugged the water, and just slowly I started to feel okay. And that happened like twice a day for like 2 or 3 days, and it felt so weird. It's just like I literally have nothing. I have nothing, no energy,
Scary.
nothing
Scary.
to give. Yeah. So that was scary. Like I was making dinner sitting on a chair because I couldn't even stand for more than 5 minutes. I just felt like I had no muscles, nothing. Like when I squeeze my hand, like if I squeeze hard enough, my nails hurt. Right now, I couldn't squeeze my hands. No muscles, nothing. Couldn't even open a bag of cheese. Like I literally had to call my fiance for everything. He had to help me for everything. But I was able to like watch movies now.
Shout out to the fiance.
Yes. He was amazing through all this. I was able to do homework, work on my computer, watch movies and everything. So that was a lot better. Went back to the doctor. Week and a half later, started to feel really good. Annoyed that I'm in quarantine at this point because I was like, I feel fine.
Yeah.
And she A-okayed me like a day early or something that I could end my quarantine.
Yeah.
My lungs sounded great. All my other tests were coming back good. I had another blood test. And all my levels were going down, which is really good, still going down. And I have another appointment in 6 weeks just to confirm everything's still good. But yeah, it was really scary. There's other stuff that I'm missing probably.
There's no way you can give every single
Yeah.
detail, but I think you touched on the big.
Yeah. Oh, I do
Parts of
cover
it.
one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I did get called by the health department of our state, and they run through all the
Right.
symptoms. And I took almost all of them. So
Yeah.
high fevers, migraines, dizziness, nausea, vomiting. I did not have any diarrhea. I didn't have any like stomach problems either. Loss of taste and smell for mine was short, but I did have that. What's the other ones? Oh, cough, nasal It's like stuffiness.
Yep.
I
think you mentioned everything.
I think that was it. They did ask though if I had like crusty kind of eyes. That was something they asked, and I did not have that. Yeah, but that was something on the list as well.
And the health department called me as well, and by that point too, I had a lot milder symptoms. I never had a fever. My highest temp was 99.1.
Yeah.
I eventually developed chills one day.
Chills all the time.
And didn't feel great, and had like a fever, a low grade, higher temperature at one point. But other than that, I was okay. But I had the loss of sense and smell,
smell and taste.
Thank you. And a cough that developed. I had a little bit of shortness of breath. I had diarrhea, stomach pain, and like the nasal congestion.
Yeah. So a couple similar ones, but not. We really did have different. It felt like we had different COVIDs, honestly.
So different. And here's the thing, though. I must have given it to you.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I don't know anybody in my life who has tested positive that I've been around. So the carrier is asymptomatic. Like I've never gotten a call from anybody that.
Yeah. And also, like, my fiance and I had basically completely quarantined. Except for seeing you.
I mean, we went to the store that day, but like I don't think I know it takes.
But we wear masks and everything, and again, I think that's. I know some people out there think that it's crap that those don't work, but I wore my mask the whole time. I was very contagious at work, and not a single person got it. Mm-hmm. And maybe they don't work, but in my case, they did, and I'm going to believe they work. Sure. And I respect if you have a different opinion.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with you, but you're right to have that.
I also wore a mask because they wanted to know the students I worked with 2 days prior to having symptoms, and that part was scary too, and it just made me feel like, just as a teacher too, you just feel like, oh my gosh, like I could have prevented, like, and thank God I did get tested, but the school had to send an official letter out to parents of the students I worked with, letting them know your child's been in contact with somebody. I'm like, they're gonna know it's me.
Yeah.
Which was fine, and gratefully, like, no, like, I mean, I was kind of nervous about it. But I also, like, they were all fine. I wore a mask as well. You know, we sanitized, that kind of stuff.
So, I do want to touch on this really quick.
Yeah.
One of the nurses asked me if I knew who gave it to me. And I said, yeah, my best friend. And they were like, wow, you must be pissed at her. And I'm like, no, she didn't know she was sick.
Yeah.
Now, if you had known and came over, yeah, I'd be pissed.
Right.
And I had no idea.
And we kind of joke about this because I told her, on Friday, I felt fine.
Yeah.
Nothing. I told her, though, I did, like, it was after dinner, after filming, I did cough at one point. And it was like, ugh, and I looked at her and I was like, that didn't sound good.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so we know this video is a very long one. We appreciate you staying with us if you have. We just kind of wanted to touch at the end here on saying that COVID is very real. Some people, my fiance tested positive and didn't have a single symptom. London had a mild version. Still miserable.
But it definitely was not fun.
No, not fun.
And so grateful that I could recover at home.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go to a hospital.
Right. And then my case, which the nurses told me was not anywhere near severe what they've seen, was pretty mild to moderate, but still severe for me.
And to me, like, hers was severe.
Yeah,
Very
scary.
I would tell coworkers, and I didn't release to everybody, just to people I worked very closely with, about that I did test positive. And when they asked about me, like, I would say, like, I'm doing a lot better, I'm feeling better, getting there. And I was like, my best friend tested positive as well, and she's in the hospital right now. And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, I'll keep her in my prayers.
My coworkers were amazing.
Yeah.
Constantly sending prayers and everything. My family members were incredible.
Yeah.
Like, even my extended family, just everybody was checking in. Thank God for Facebook. It just made me, like, talk to people and everything.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't like to, like, promote social media, but, like, if you're sick and in bed and you're really, like, and you're isolated at a hospital or at home, I do think social media is a great way to connect with people when you're, like, in that situation. Because, I mean, I was alone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
At the end. No, maybe more than that. Like 3.5. And, I mean, yes, my fiance was there, but we were also trying to be as safe as we could with us. So, like, that was really hard. And we kind of wanted to also touch on, like, some of the things that were helpful medically for us. Both of us really relied on this pulse oximeter. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah.
Pulse oximeter. You didn't have a fever, but check with, if you do get sick and you do have high fevers, work with your doctor. Thankfully, I had my doctor and one of my other friends who's an NP. Almost an NP. She's doing a great job. She's almost out of school. Proud of you, Kylie. That she really helped me get onto a rotation with Tylenol and ibuprofen to keep my fever as low as we could keep it. Just being like aware of that, having cold compress. I mean, there was a point where my fever was so high, it was when it was 103.1, where I literally just stood in a cold shower to try and get it down. And then I got out of the shower and put cold compress all over me. And that was at the point where it was so high, I felt like I had sunburn. Like my face was bright red.
Your face was red.
Yeah. So being like, and I mean, I do actually normally I don't recommend Googling your symptoms, but with COVID, I actually thought it was very helpful because I could see like at what levels my oxygen was safe, you know, that kind of stuff. I could just see like, okay, this is a new symptom. Like, is this normal? Like that kind of thing. Because the CDC does have a lot of great information out about that.
It does.
And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking the whole time.
You're fine.
And we also wanted to touch on masks a little bit. We both completely understand there's a divide in our country on the topic of masks. A lot of people think they don't work. A lot of people are like, just wear masks when they sleep. Like, not really, but like, you know, they just really rely on this and everything.
Sure.
They take it very seriously, yes. We just, you know, I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to be that person that's like, wear your mask because I got COVID really bad. Like,
At the end of the day, it's your choice.
It is. And I respect that. I think that you should monitor yourself and others that you choose to be around. But again, it's hard. Neither one of us knew we were sick for like 2 days. And
Exactly.
so it is very hard, and we understand that.
Exactly.
And some people are asymptomatic, like my fiance. So you don't always know.
You don't. And that's a really great point to make as well, because in both of our cases, and I was even mad that I had to miss work because I didn't think I had it. I'm so thankful I got tested.
Yeah.
And the days after I got tested, just having that loss of sense of, I can't ever say it, the loss of taste and smell. And then I got chills that felt like things started progressing a little bit, and I thought, I guess it's good I got tested.
Yeah.
And I still maybe thought it wasn't going to come back. I thought maybe, is this in my head? But when I got that it was positive, I mean, seriously, take it seriously, because you don't know. And in my case too, I'm so glad I took that I'm so glad I reached out to my administration and my school nurse, and they guided me through the correct protocols and steps, because had I not, maybe more of my students or even more of my family members would have tested positive. Yes. So
we just, our goal is to raise awareness for it, to promote healthy behaviors. We respect people that, I'm going to stop there. I don't agree with you if you think masks don't work, but I respect that you have different opinions than me, and I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to be that person in the grocery store yelling at you. Like, you're going to do what you're going to do. You're an adult, whatever. I hope that you're taking precautions, and if you're not, that's on you, and I feel sorry for you, honestly, because you just can't.
Sure, because
it just shows me that
because this virus too goes much more beyond just yourself. The people you interact with, especially when you're out in public places and you don't know people personally, you don't know what their health is like. And of course they make those decisions for themselves as well, exposing themselves or whatnot. But this is a real virus. I think it's ridiculous that it's become political, because it's a disease that affects human lives regardless of your political stance. It
should just be about human lives. That's it. Not about Republican or Democrat or whatever. It should, that's it. That's all it should be about. Literally. There's no reason for it to be political.
There's not.
So that part's frustrating. But our goal is only to like share our story. So if you have similar symptoms, or if you, like, if somebody gets sick and they I'm not even kidding, you can get a pulse oximeter on Amazon. Get one.
That's what I did. I literally got it like mid-symptoms, like mid-COVID, and I got it in like 2 days.
Had I not gotten it, it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been.
Yeah. Like, just be ready for anything, and just,
and COVID is so unique in that it affects everybody so differently, as you can see even with us, and there's 100% like I had given it to you. Really there is. Had I known I had something, obviously I would not have been in that situation, but
you just don't know.
You don't know, and you don't know how your body is going to react to the virus.
Okay. We changed our spots, guys, because it got a little dark and buggy outside. Yeah. So we really just want to say, like, I know our story's long. Again, we just wanted to share our story to promote awareness, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Thankfully we're both okay. Not everybody gets that.
But yeah, we're just grateful to be feeling better.
Absolutely.
And be getting back to what is now the new normal.
For sure.
And
Yes. And we want to remind you, and we wish you with all sincerity, that you are staying healthy, your family members are staying healthy, and remember to always take care of each other.
Love you so much.
I love you too. I'm so glad we could finally do that.
I
It's been a
know.
long time. Make sure you wear a mask, wash your hands, and social distance.